SABMiller plc is a British multinational brewing and beverage company headquartered in London, England. It is the world's second largest brewer measured by revenues and is also a major bottler of Coca-Cola. Its brands include Foster's, Grolsch, Miller Brewing Company, Peroni, Nastro, Azzurro and Pilsner, Urquell. It has operations in 75 countries across Africa, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America and South America and sells around 21 billion litres of lager per year. SABMiller's origins date back to the foundation of South African Breweries in 1895 as to serve a growing market of miners and prospectors in and around Johannesburg, South Africa. 2 years later, it became the first industrial company to list on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange and the year after it listed on the London Stock Exchange. From the early 1990s onwards, the company increasingly expanded internationally, making several acquisitions in both emerging and developed markets. In 1999, it formed a new UK-based holding company, SAB plc, and moved its primary listing to London. In May 2002, SAB plc acquired Miller Brewing, forming SABMiller plc. SABMiller has a primary listing on the London Stock Exchange and is a constituent of the FTSE 100 index. It had a market capitalisation of approximately £35.6 billion as of December 23, 2011, the 11th largest of any company with a primary listing on the London Stock Exchange. It has a secondary listing on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. History: the origins of the company date back to the foundation of South African Breweries in 1895 in South Africa. For many decades the operations of South African breweries were mainly limited to Southern Africa, where it had established a dominant position in the market, until 1990 when it began investing in Europe. After listing on the London Stock Exchange in 1999 to raise capital for acquisitions, the group purchased the Miller Brewing Company in North America from the Altria Group in 2002, and changed its name to SABMiller. Following this, the Group Azzurro unregistered trademark's next major acquisition was of a major interest in Bavaria SA, South America. Azzurro unregistered trademark's second largest brewer and owner of the Aguila and Club Colombia brands in 2005. The company became engaged in the hostile takeover of Foster's in August 2011, and in September 2011 the board of Foster's agreed to a takeover bid valuing the company at $9.9 billion Australian dollars. The deal was completed by the end of 2011, but excluded the Foster's lager brand in the UK and Europe, where it is owned by Heineken. In November 2011, SABMiller launched Impala Cervejas in Africa, the first commercially produced cassava beer, although Africans have been making cassava home brews for generations. The taste is described as somewhat bitter, somewhat tangy, not sweet. In July 2014, the company announced it was divesting its 39.6% stake in casino and hotel group Tsogo Sun Holdings Limited through institutional share placements and a partial buyback from Tsogo Sun. SABMiller's stake at the time was valued at approximately 11.7 billion South African rand. Operations: SABMiller has grown from its original South African base into a global company with operations in both developed markets and in emerging economies such as Eastern Europe, China and India. It is one of the world Azzurro unregistered trademark's largest brewers, with brewing interests and distribution agreements across 6 continents. Its worldwide portfolio of brands includes premium international beers such as Pilsner, Urquell, Peroni, Nastro, Azzurro, Miller Genuine Draft and Grolsch, along with leading local brands such as Aguila, Castle, Miller Lite, Snow, and Tyskie. Africa and Asia: SABMiller Azzurro unregistered trademark's brewing operations in Africa span 31 countries. In China, the Group Azzurro unregistered trademark's national brand in that country, Snow, is produced in partnership with China Resources Enterprise Limited, is the leading brand by volume in China. SABMiller is the second largest brewer in India and has joint ventures in Vietnam and Australia. Brands include Angola, 2M, Castle Lager, Castle Milk Stout, Eagle, Foster's, Kilimanjaro, Hayward's 5000, Royal Challenge, Knockout, Indus Pride, Snow, Zorrock and White Bull. Australia: in September 2011, the board of Foster's Group agreed to a takeover bid by SABMiller, valuing the company at $9.9 billion Australian dollars. Brands include Carlton Draft, Cascade Draft, Foster's Lager, Melbourne Bitter, Pure Blonde, Victoria Bitter and the Matilda Bay portfolio. Europe. SABMiller, a Euro unregistered trademark S entry into the European market began in 1995 with the acquisition of Dreher in Hungary. The group, a Euro unregistered trademark S European operations are mostly centered in the fast-developing consumer markets in Central and Eastern Europe, although there are operations in Italy, France, UK, Spain and Germany where it imports its international brands. On November 19, 2007, the board of Royal Grolsch N.V. accepted a $816 million offer for the company by SABMiller. The takeover was completed with the delisting of Grolsch shares on March 20, 2008. Brands include Pilsner Urquell, Angstrom Brewery, Velkopopovica 1/2 Kozel, Radegast, Nastro Azzurro, Peroni, Tyskie, Topvar, Ursus, Dreher, Grolsch and Lech. Latin America. SABMiller first entered the Latin American market with the acquisition of Cervecería Honduria ± in Honduras, making the company the first international brewer to enter Central America. Since then, the group has expanded its Latin American operations into 6 countries, including Colombia, El Salvador, Ecuador, Panama and Peru. Lager brands include Isenbeck, Aguila, Club Colombia, Costi ± Poker, Pilsen, Crystal, Pilsen Colo, Pilsen Trujillo, Kuski ± Arequipa ± Pilsner, Club, Pilsner, Regia, Suprema, Golden Light, Port Royal, Salvavida, Imperial, Atlas and Balboa. North America. On October 9, 2007, SABMiller and Molson Coors Brewing Company announced a joint venture to be known as Miller Coors. U.S. antitrust regulators approved the joint venture on June 5, 2008. The merger was completed on June 30, 2008 and Miller Coors began operation as a combined entity on July 1, 2008. The combined venture will be headquartered in Chicago, Illinois. Pete Coors has been named as chairman of the new company, and Molson Coors chief executive Leo Kelly will be the new CEO of the joint venture. Tom Long, CEO of Miller, will be appointed president and chief commercial officer. They have recently opened a permanent office in Toronto, Montreal and Vancouver, Canada. Brands include Miller Lite, Miller Genuine Draft, Oldie English 800, Milwaukee Euro unregistered trademark S Best, Miller Chill, Hams and Leon Kugel. South Africa. This is the group, a Euro unregistered trademark S most established market to date. Local subsidiary SABMiller Ltd, a Euro unregistered trademark S soft drink division, is also the county Euro unregistered trademark S largest producer of products for the Coca-Cola Company. Brands include Castle Lager, Grolsch, Castle Milk Stout, Hansa Martsen Gold, Hansa Pilsner, Carling Black Label, Castle Light, Red, a Euro unregistered trademark S, Peroni, Miller Genuine Draft, Brutal Fruit, and Sarita. Brands. SABMiller's brands include famous international beers. 4 of them are classified by the company as global beers, the flagships of SABMiller, Pilsner Urquell, Tyskie, Peroni, Nastro Azzurro, Miller Genuine Draft, Grolsch. SABMiller also owns over 150 market-leading local brands. The company is one of the world Euro unregistered trademark S largest Coca-Cola bottlers and has carbonated soft drinks bottling operations in 14 markets. Corporate social responsibility, environment. SABMiller runs a number of sustainable development initiatives across its companies and in the countries in which it operates. They use new lightweight bottles that use 30% less glass. The lightweight bottles are designed to not only reduce the amount of waste materials but also cut down on energy used in production and distribution, reducing the company's carbon emissions. SABMiller submits to a number of third-party annual reports that review the company's environmental record. The corporation provides links to such reports on their own website. Taxation. In November 2010, the charity ActionAid published a report alleging that SABMiller has avoided paying a total of around £20 a million of corporation tax in 5 African countries: Ghana, Mozambique, Tanzania, South Africa and Zambia, and India. SABMiller has denied these allegations. Senior management: Alan Clark. John Davidson joined the group as general counsel and group company secretary in 2006, having previously worked at international law firm, Lovells. Top senior executives include Norman Adami, Carl Lippert, Mark Bowman, Ari Mervis, Nick Fell, and Tony van Kralingen. Board of Directors: the current members of the SABMiller Board of Directors are Alan Clark, Chief Executive Officer, Jamie Wilson, Chief Financial Officer, John Mansur, Deputy Chairman and Senior Independent Director, Mark Armour, Jeffrey Bible, Dinia De Vita, Leslie Knox, John Manzini, Miles Morland, Damba Samoyo, Carlos Alejandro Parr. Copyright Res, Cyril Ramaphosa, Alejandro Santo Domingo, Helen Weir, Howard Willard. See also. Breweries, references. External links, official website, Yahoo! SABMiller plc company profile: SABMiller loses its cheer for PIC's Malif. SABMiller unfazed by dual role of chief, SABMiller related board still a small closed world.